Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Don't Touch the Beard, the web series in which I video, document and then talk nonsense over the top of Guild Ball. I'm sure you're more than familiar with this format by now, but if this is your first Don't Touch the Beard, welcome. What are you doing? If you use the search bar up the top, you can find some kittens to look at if you like, or my personal favourite, goats doing parkour. That's always funny. This rarely is. Sometimes, but rarely, I'll give it a go. This week I have the distinct pleasure of playing my good friend Mr. Dominic Westerland. He of the voice behind the Breachside broadcast for so very long, and like me has turned his attentions of late to Guild Ball. Fantastic game, such as it is. He will be using his farmers against my Morticians, and as part of our preparation for the Jumpers for Guild Posts tournament happening down in Kent on November the 4th. If you are watching this in the near future as opposed to the future or the really weird future, tickets may well still be available. If you are in the far off future, is Trump dead? Lovely, that's good to know. He doesn't have a 10 for which to draft from, he has merely a 6, so I chose 6 as well. So his 6 consisted of Bushel, Jackstraw, Windle, Harrow, Grange and Peck. Basically the box set, you know, the one that you can buy in shops, like Darksphere, the shop that we're playing in on screen now. I alternatively took Silence, Graves, Dirge, Obulus, Casket and Cosset, because I like them. Dom won the roll-off at the beginning of the game and elected for me to kick off to him, so I deployed first, electing Obulus as my kicker, and he that deployed opposite. Given this is a team refugee team practice, I wonder if I can put in some sort of really aggressive logo. No, that's not right. That'll do, though. If you must blink, do it now, because this game is really, really fast. So, top of turn 1, Dom allocates 4 to Bushel, 3 to Jackstraw, 1 to Windle, 1 to Harrow, 1 to Grange, and 2 to Peck. And yes, I know the games are normally quite fast because I speed them up, so you're not watching a game for 2 hours, but this one took less than an hour to play in real time, so I imagine it's going to speed up quite nicely. Oh, I put 3 on Silence, 1 on Graves, none on Dirge, 5 on Obulus, and 2 on Casket, 2 on Cosset. So Peck jogs up, snaps the ball, and passes to Grange, making use of the Family Aura. There, on screen, there is the rule for the Family Aura. I am not putting it up every single time. There it is, read it, put it into the mind with brainness. Brilliant word there, brainness, fantastic. Good job, Beard. And keep it there, because that and the Don't Stop Slacking Windle thing I'm putting up once, and you can remember it, because you're all grown-ups. I in turn activate Casket, who steps up and throws out 2 ghastly visages as you see them on screen. Grange has a jog and passes to Jackstraw. Again, the Family Aura thing. Here it is again. Put it in the brain pan. Not that brain pan. I haven't selected him. Remember the thing. I'm not doing it every time. Last chance. Silence has a sprint up and uses Fire Blast, putting it just in front of Bushel and Jackstraw. However, what I haven't done is taken into consideration the Foul Odour Aura from Casket, so 3 inches around him is rough ground, so in a few activations turn I realised that Silence wasn't going to be able to do any of this, so I remove the Fire Blast because it wouldn't have been able to be where I've placed it. Made a mistake, hold my hand up, fix it. That's good gaming. So Harrow has a little jog and 3 rules come into effect here. The first of which is look busy, meaning that he drops a harvest marker. Bushel's Protected comes into question, so she gains +1 armour. Question? Effect, man. And finally, Windles stops slacking so that when another friendly model ends in advance within 4 inches and it's not suffering the knockdown condition, it may make a 1-inch dodge. Now, much like in the family order, I'm putting this up here once because it comes up a lot, but I will mention it whenever I remember. That's not a lot. Dirge has a little jog. See? Nice and simple. This is the point where I remembered foul odour and that I shouldn't have been able to do the things I did with silence, so I take it all off so we can just skip past this bit because I've explained it already. Windle uses his advance to reposition himself nearer a harvest marker. Graves has himself a little jog and tools up Cosset, making her a tool. Jackstraw passes the ball to Bushel successfully and banks the point of momentum, and he then has himself a little jog forward. Jackstraw uses crop dusting, not aiming for any of the Morticians, but rather just using the AoE to drop the harvest markers. He then uses Last Straw at the end of his activation to place into base contact with a Harvest Master. That's within 4 inches. I activate Obulus, who puts confidence onto Cosset. I then reposition with a jog and use Puppet Master to bring Grange closer to my lines. Dom activates Bushel, who passes the ball to Jackstraw and, making use of Give and Go, takes a 4-inch dodge forward. She then makes use of Cabbage Punt, so once per turn during her activation, the controlling player may choose a friendly harvest marker within 2 inches, conveniently placed by Jackstraw previously, which she removes from the pitch, meaning that she may re-roll all failed kicks for the remainder of the turn. She then jogs forward, remembering it to minus from her movement due to foul odour, because Dom remembers it, even when I don't. So Bushel makes use of I'm Open to receive a pass from Jackstraw, which he dutifully does. She makes use of Pass and Move to get a free 4-inch dodge from that pass, using the momentum gained. I spy Jank. So despite the crowd out from Casket and with the rerolls that she has from Cabbage Punt, Bushel is now within shot range of goal and dutifully smashes the ball into the back of the post. That is Morticians 0, Farmers 4. So the ball is kicked out from the Morticians goal and snaps straight to Casket. I activate Cosset, who goes crazy, so that's an additional 3 tack for at the expense of 3 health. I then make use of Furious to charge into Grange for free. So that's tack 11 versus the 3s and O's of Grange. 10 net hits after the rerolls from Confidence is a Screeching Banshee and a momentous 4 damage. Screeching Banshee meaning that the Grange is now at -1 defense and takes 2 damage, which is increased to 3 due to Tooled Up. I buy another attack, spending a point of momentum for bonus time to give me an additional dice. So that is tack 8 versus 2s and O's of Grange. Now 6 net hits is 5 damage, followed by 2 damage, seeing as I am still tooled up but no longer confident. Final hit is tack 7 versus 2s and 0s. Now 7 net hits is 5 damage and a momentous 3 damage, bringing Grange to a scant 4 health. So at the end of the turn, we do end of turn things, and additionally Dom eats 2 harvest markers, which combined with his goal influence will give him 15 influence for turn 2. Morticians win the roll-off, and I like to go first, and I allocate 3 to Silence, none to Graves, none to Dirge, 5 to Obulus, 4 to Casket, and none to Cosset. Dom in turn gives Bushel 4, Jackstraw 3, Wendell 2, Harrow 3, Grange 2 and Peck 1. At the beginning of his activation, Obulus has himself a Shadow-like. Obulus then once more Puppet Masters Grange, making him jog nearer to Casket and Death. Sorry, not Death, Dirge. It's pronounced Dirge. Obulus then takes a swing. Why not? So that's tack 5 versus 3s and O's. 3 net hits is a momentous 2 points of damage. So Bushel charges in to Casket, making sure to make no tack 8, 3s and 1s, 6 nets hits, tackle and a dodge. So yeah, those are the noises I make when I make mistakes, but I can't be bothered to replace it this time. Never mind. So this time tack 4 versus 3s and 1s, 3 net hits Here's another dodge, getting her past Casket and out of his melee range. 3 guesses what happens next. So yes, just like my beloved New York Knicks, I have entirely failed to see an offensive charge from my opponent and done anything defensive about it. Dear gods, I hope this season's better. Anyway, score is now Morticians 0, 8 to the Farmers, thanks to a second Bushel goal. Morticians kick the ball out and the ball snaps directly to Grange. Things are going brilliantly. So I activate Casket, who jogs forward to engage Grange. I then declare my legendary play. Casket time. Meaning the next time I inflict the taken out condition on an enemy model, I score an additional 2 VP and they don't come back. Well, at least not straight away. So that is Tack 6 versus the 3s and O's of Grange. That is 5 net hits, which is a momentous 2 damage, which is more than enough to take Grange out. So with Grange safely stuffed into the box on the back of Casket's back, that is Morticians 4, Farmers 8. Nice. Bring things back a little bit more respectable. Hopefully there'll be more points, maybe? The ball scatters but a scant inch and snaps directly to Casket. Casket then hard casts Heavy Burden on Windle. I bonus time the attempt to make sure it goes off. And that is Windle affected by Heavy Burden, so he suffers a -4/-4 move and -2 dice to all character plays. I then spend 2 influence to pop out 2 ghostly visages, which in hindsight was a waste of influence. Popping 1 on Cosset is perfectly sensible. It means Windle. If Windle was to charge her, he's a -8 move, so that ain't happening. But the 1 on Ghast wasn't needed. What I really should have done was to pass the ball and keep that alive. So Peck activates and has himself a jog, causing Stop Slacking to come into effect on Windle, giving him a dodge. Peck then casts Cocky, not Cocksure, Cocky, on to Windle, meaning he will ignore the next condition placed on him, aside from the taken out condition. Silence steps up and incinerates both Harrow and Windle with Fire Blast. However, whilst both of them take the damage, only Harrow is affected by the burning condition, and Cocky is removed from Windle, as is Cocksure, because it doesn't exist. Jack has a little jog, Windle stops slacking. Again, Jackstraw makes use of Crop Dusting to drop his AoE, again purely for the Harvest Marker rather than the damage. He then uses At Your Post to place into base-to-base contact with a Harvest Marker or Goalpost within 4 inches. And then at the end of his activation uses Last Straw to jump to the other Harvest Marker, now being right next to but outside of the melee range of Cosset, ensuring she can't use Furious. Graves has himself a little jog, but that's about it. Harrow tools up Windle. Windle. I said, word is Windle. I said it right first time. Windle. He then goes for a little jog, and Windle stops slacking and has a 1-inch dodge. I fly Dirge over to Cosset to try and give her a bit of help, and of course what I have done is put all the fragile, easy to kill things isolated on one side. Idiot. Now, of course, Windle's movement has been heavily debuffed. Fortunately, I've been kind enough to bring things closer to him for next turn. I'm pretty sure Dom's eyes must have lit up in his head when he saw my positioning here. Ah, well, live and learn. So I activate Cosset, who spends a point of momentum to heal 4 hit points with Take a Breather in a vain attempt to delay the inevitable. So that is the end of turn 2. I win the roll-off and elect to go first with the Morticians. Grange does not come back onto the pitch, nor does his 5 influence. However, due to Harvest Marker consumption and goal influence, now 2 from the 2 goals from the Farmers, Dom is still on 10 influence to divide between his 5 players. So all sustained effects are removed, conditions are resolved, and then Harrow's Healing Burst goes off. Rapid Growth, giving those within the aura an additional 2 hit points back. So I allocate 2 to Silence, 4 to Graves, none to Dirge, 5 to Obulus, none to Casket, and 2 to Cosset. Dom in turn gives his Farmers 2 to Bushel, 2 to Jackstraw, 2 to Windle, 3 to Harrow, none to Grange because he's in the box, and 1 to Peck. I activate Obulus, who Shadow likes. He's previously had the ball unsnapped from Casket and snapped to Obulus, which I forgot to mention earlier when I was berating myself over not passing. I then sprint with Obulus towards the top end of the pitch, looking to protect the ball at all costs, which really wasn't needed. I then Puppet Master Obulus himself to jog forward as close to that cover as possible, really looking to get the ball as far away from the farmers. A wholly unnecessary activation and series of plays by me. So Windle eats a harvest marker within 2 inches of him, triggering Big Breakfast, meaning he gains an additional influence and 2 attack. What? It's a bit good. So do remember throughout these attacks that Berserk is a thing, meaning that whilst he causes damage with an attack, he can then take another. Well, this is bound to go well, Cosset. So that's Tack 8 versus 4s and 0s. 4 net hits is a momentous 2 damage. He bonus times the second attack, so that is Tack 9 now versus 4s and 0s. 4 net hits is a momentous 2 damage. Second Bort attack, Tack 9, bonus timed again versus 4s and 0s. 6 net hits this time is a momentous 3 damage. Second Berserk attack is Tack 9 versus 4s and 0s, bonus timed again. 3 net hits is a snack break. So Windle immediately heals 4 health, and next time he inflicts the taken out condition, there will be a bonus VP in it for him. Very nice. So last paid for attack, Tack 9 again versus the 4s and 0s of Cosset. 4 net hits is a momentous 2 damage. Dom keeps forgetting the tooled up here, I've only just noticed it. Last Berserk attack, Tack 9 versus 4s and 0s. 7 net hits is a momentous 3 damage and a 1 damage. That is more than enough to take Cosset out, and she probably should have gone out sooner if Dom had remembered all his tooled ups. So of course, thanks to Snack Break, that is a 3 VP takeout, so that brings the score Morticians 4, 11 to the Farmers, and Dirge just precariously left over on the right flank of the Morticians field with 3 Farmers around him. Can't imagine what happens next. So in an effort to get points where I can, Graves tools himself up. He then buys an attack on Bushel, who in turn declares a counterattack. So that is Tack 6 versus 5s and 0s. 3 net hits is a momentous 3 damage, and due to the crucial artery rule, she also gains bleed. Bushel's counterattack then, so that is Tack 4 versus the 4s and 1s of Graves. 1 net hit is 1 point of damage. The tooled up Graves then takes another swing on Bushel, so that is Tack 6 versus 5s and 0s. 5 net hits is momentous 3 damage. Third swing from Graves, Tack 6 versus 5s and 0s. 2 net hits is 2 damage. Dom in turn activates Bushel and declares an attack on Graves. I declare a counterattack back, so that is Tack 4 versus 4s and 1s. 1 net hit is 1 point of momentous damage. Dom then spends a point of momentum to take a breather, and I'm no longer sure he should, as I've declared a counterattack. Therefore, do I not get to take my action before his? Tell us, oh handy viewer, such as you are. Yes, I know you've been waiting for me to say it. Should this have been possible? If not, please do leave a comment in the doobly-doo below the table. Graves' counterattack then, Tack 6 versus 5s and 0s is 1 net hit, which is 2 points of damage. Bushel hits back, so that's Tack 4 versus the 4s and 1s of Graves. 1 net hit is another momentous point of damage. I activate Silence, who charges Bushel, so with crowd outs and bonus times, that is Tack 11 versus 5s and 0s. 3 net hits is momentous 2 damage. Over at the business end of the pitch, Peck sprints up to Dirge. In turn, I pass Dirge's activation, and Harrow comes steaming in with a charge. That's a whopping Tack 13 versus the 5s and 0s of Dirge. 4 net hits is enough for a momentous knockdown from Harrow. Follow-up attack from Harrow is Tack 8 versus the 4s and 0s now of Dirge. That is 6 net hits, enough for a wrap. So that is 3 damage on the top and 1 damage on the bottom. Dirge now left, clinging on for dear life. I activate Casket and jog him over to try and crowd out the unactivated Drac Straw. So Jack uses At Your Post to teleport next to a harvest marker just by his feet. This moves him outside of Casket's 1-inch melee zone. Beautifully played there. He then uses If Only I Had a Brain to teleport again to a different harvest marker. Well, I think he's showing off here, to be honest. He could have just jogged. He's outside of all my melee ranges, dodges knockdowns, and he's just teleported outside of Caskets. Show off. So there we are. Jackstraw takes a swing on Dirge. That is tack 4 versus 4s and O's. That is 4 net hits, netting him a wrap for a double dodge and 1 damage, taking out Dirge and bringing the score to 4-12 to the farmers. Well then, handy viewer, such as you are, that was not my strongest showing. I think it's fair to say. Phenomenal game against Dom. Laughed the entire way through it. Lovely to catch up with you again, chap. I look forward to games again in the future, and of course our team showing down at Jumpers for Guild Boasts 3. I'm hoping you represent Team Refugee much better than I do in that game. Some real misplays with Obulus, so that kept activating him very, very early in the turn, meaning that threat was entirely removed from the table. I was so focused on boxing Grange that I wasn't defending against an open goal, so I allowed myself to go down 8-0 very, very quickly. All in all, not my strongest game, but an absolute delight the whole way through. So if you have not seen it already, there is a special event going on with Steamforged at the moment entitled Union in Chains. This will be going from the 9th of October 2017 right up to SteamCon on the 17th of November, again 2017. Do go and have a look on the Steamforged website for this and how you can get involved. I certainly intend to be doing some special Union in Chains matchups right here on the Beard Binnies YouTube channel. So that is it for another week. Oh, handy viewer, such as you are, if you have enjoyed this and would like to subscribe, there should be a beard in the centre of your screen allowing you to do so. Equally, there are playlists to the right and to the left, allowing you to see both my Blacksmith preview videos, hype, and also the continuing for the rest of this series. And as ever, handy viewer, such as you are, I need a better outro.